guys, girls, and athletes of all shapes and sizes, people who want to be better versions of themselves, and people who just randomly found this channel, or, oh, by the way, I'm on YouTube. Hey, YouTubers. People randomly just found this channel, searching through, looking for stuff for different video games. You just happen to roll across this. Whatever. This is about motivation, inspiration, giving you a little bit of insight into the daily life of everything that is everything. So let's go ahead and get Facebook online. Here we go. All right, Facebook, welcome, welcome, welcome. So we're gonna go into it, man. I'm gonna kill him today, man. I'm feeling it, boy. I was driving down the road and it hit me, and I was like, whoa, I'm gonna get him. I'm gonna get him today. I told him I'm gonna get him, so I'm gonna get you. So here we go. Let's talk about zoochosis. So before we get into the zoochosis as a whole, I want to kind of go back. Like some of you guys saw on my Facebook wall. By the way, those of you on YouTube who don't know me, I'm DeMarcus Tunstall. Feel free to find me on Facebook, DeMarcus E. Tunstall. Find me, my profile, feel free to go to it. I have it open because I have nothing to hide. The world's too big of a place, and I don't really have time for secrets. So I went and did a trip from St. Charles here down to the city, which is the zoo. And that was about 25 miles, and I rode my bike down there. And so when I do that, I always seem to go to the zoo because I love the zoo. The zoo is great. So I was actually in the zoo, and I'm walking around. I'm looking at all the animals, and some of the animals were looking pretty cool, just kind of doing their thing. And I'm walking around, I'm noticing something, and I'm looking at these animals, and I don't know why when I'm walking in this zoo this time I'm looking at them differently, because there's nothing different about this. It's still hot. I still got my farmer's tank. You see that? So there's nothing about this zoo that's different. But what I noticed here is that the zoo itself is a prison. To get them. It's coming. Here it comes. The zoo is a prison. So I'm sitting here looking, I'm like watching these animals, because some of them were being fed, and there was food being thrown into their cages, and they were eating the food, and you know, they could eat it whenever they wanted to, yada yada, whatever food came, they done, whatever. They were laying down. And I'm sitting here watching like, man, these animals feed whenever they're told to be fed. They pretty much go outside, and you know, whenever they're told to go outside, because the zoo is open now, so the people need to watch them. You know, it's important for us to watch animals for our amusement. They need to be there, right? So I'm sitting like, man, this is actually a prison. I'm sitting here looking at these monkeys that are just sitting there, and they just look like they don't even know what to do. And I'm like, this is crazy. I've never seen the zoo from this perspective, and it got me to thinking. I'm like, okay, well, and then some of them have, and I'm going to talk about this here. Have you ever seen some of the animals that have, like, they're missing fur, and they may be biting at their fur? Something like that, right? So that's called zoochosis. And so let me show you what zoochosis is. Here we go. Make it a little bit bigger for you. Here we go. Ready, go. Come on, here we go. So zoochosis. So what is zoochosis? So basically, zoochosis is the behavior, stereotypical behavior of animals in captivity. So you got to realize that at some point in time, these animals were free. And these animals were free for whatever reason. They're in the zoo now, right? But it's stereotypical behavior described in repetitive behavior pattern with no apparent goal or function. Let me read that to you again. It's coming. I know you feel it now, don't you? It's stereotypical behavior described as invariant, repetitive behavior patterns with no apparent goal or function. So animals in zoos and other forms of captivity suffer from stress and depression. Let me slide behind us. Hold on. You can still see me. Stress and depression and other unusual behaviors. Now, these habits are not displayed by animals roaming in the wild, which means that this confinement has detrimental effects on the health of animals. Now, tell me you don't know where I'm going with this, man. Come on. What I'm trying to tell you is this. How many of you right now are going through zoochosis and you're not even an animal? Because think about it. Every time we get up and we go to work, they're giving us just a little bit of freedom. I looked around that pen. I was like, that rock is fake. That backdrop is fake. The food they're throwing in and giving it to us, that's fake, because we didn't even earn that food. So these animals are becoming complacent, so they'll start wandering around in circles. Just wandering around in circles. Now, why do they do that? Because they're used to being wild animals. They're supposed to be wild creatures, but they're here now for our amusement in one way, shape, or form, right? So you got this zoochosis going on in these animals, but we don't even see that the zoochosis that's going on in these animals is exactly what's going on in ourselves. We literally are going through zoochosis. And how do we cope? We get depressed and we get medicated. How is that any different than the animals? You get told what to do, you get told when to fed, you get told when to go in, you get told when to get off. And remember, I had a job at one point in time, and I'll probably have one again, but it's an enlightenment phase because I know I need to go somewhere different. I don't want this for the rest of my life. I don't want people to own me. This is not slavery. Believe it or not, guys, the job that you're on is what we call volunteer slavery. Thank you, Mike Brown. Volunteer slavery. One of the amendments, I forgot which one, and I did a video on it, literally says slavery will be abolished as long as it's not voluntary, which means that if you give yourself up, it's cool. Don't worry about that. But nobody can force you to work for them. This is big. So let's go to, I'm going to take it to the next level, right? So we're talking about people. We're talking about zoochosis. Talk about these animals. We're talking about zoochosis and how they cope. And, you know, how medicate yourself. You know, if you're feeling this way, you medicate yourself so you don't have to worry about it, right? So you keep it going. Let's talk about this, right? So we have a newborn baby animal. We had that giraffe that was giving birth for like 17 years. I don't even know how, like, I think I was 6 whenever the baby started coming, and now I'm 55. You know, that was a long stretch. So we literally have these babies that are being bred and born in captivity. And you know, this is powerful. It's probably one of the most powerful things I'm gonna say today. So listen up. Do you realize that the only thing that a captive mother and father, parent of this baby can teach them is how to be a captive animal? Hold on, let me say that again. The parents of these animals in captivity that are born there can only show this animal how to be a captive in this environment. If they're in the wild, they can show them how to be wild and free. So here's the problem. How many of us are actually following the footsteps of our parents who have been in the same situation and are failing because the world has changed, but they don't want to move? They don't want to make moves to get to the next level. They know that they're too old. They think that they can't do it anymore. Whatever the case, hey, get a job. There's the 40-40-40 rule. 40 hours a week for 40 years of your life, get 40% of your pay. That doesn't work anymore because the computers and machines are replacing us, right? So the only thing that a captive mother or a captive father in captivity can teach you is how to be a captive. Which means that baby will never know what it's like to be free. When they free these animals that are in captivity, they get destroyed out there. Why is that? Because they don't know how to live out there. They only know how to live where food is being thrown into them at 12 o'clock, 6 o'clock, 9 a.m. That's the only thing that they know. So how do they know how to feed? They don't understand this. Now, some of their instincts might kick in, but imagine if this baby has been in captivity so long, they don't even have instincts anymore. So we have our parents and the people around us, the teachers. I used to be a teacher. The teachers are teaching us how to be captives because they need us to survive in captivity. Teachers are captives of their jobs. The problem is that we view the people who are not captives as being abrupt or they got too much money. Money's the root of all evil. Money's the only root of all evil if you're an evil person. Otherwise, money's just money and a tool. No different than a phone. It's a tool. No different than a pen. It's a tool. You see that? Let me go ahead and take off Zoochosis. I don't want y'all watching. I want you watch me. Watch me. So here's what I want you to think about. The only way for that baby bear, you got mother bear there, captivity. You got father bear, captivity. You got brother bear, captivity. The only way for that baby bear to survive outside is to, one, have a curiosity of something inside of where he's at, and two, to actually go and get it. And he's got to ignore what's right in front of him. He's got to ignore he's got to feel like there's something more for him. But you got to go out there. And that's the same way all of us. Otherwise, if we sit here and we follow the direction of the people in front of us, most of us are following a line that ends up off a cliff and no one is surmounting to anything. Nothing. Your legacy will last maybe 1 or 2 generations. They'll miss you for 1 year. They'll talk about you the second year, third generation, you're gone. Oh yeah, that's grandpa. Okay, now let's go to the ball. You have to be able to give more. You have to be able to be more. You can't allow zoochosis to kick in. You're in a zoo right now. Your job is a zoo. Your life is a zoo. And I'm not talking about because it's wild. I'm because you're a prisoner of it. Think about all the things that you have. Your house is actually keeping you where you're at. The fact you have a house note means you have to go to work. You see what I'm saying here? All of it's designed to keep us trapped, y'all. You gotta see that. And we medicate ourselves to get out of it. Instead of stopping what's actually creating the problem, all we do is we literally just medicate the issue. You gotta let that go. So I just want to talk about zoochosis, because that baby bear, the only way he can go out is he has to feel that there's something more for him. He has to go searching for someone other than the people in his circle that don't understand anything different than what they have been taught. You can sit here and eat this food all day long. Where's this food coming from? Why is it raining from the skies? I don't know. That's all I have to say. I hope you guys got something from this one. This one kind of hit home for me, seeing those animals in the zoo, and then realizing that at that point in time that I was in the zoo. I was sitting there in the zoo getting paid just enough so I didn't quit, but not enough that I got to raise them, and they ain't gonna go broke paying me, but they're gonna make millions off of me, right? We sit at jobs to make somebody else's dream come true. We sit at jobs to make somebody else rich. We sit at jobs to just get enough so we are surviving. That's all we need, right? Wrong. We're worth more than that, but we won't give ourselves a chance to do that. So I need to stop this video. This is about 11 minutes long. I'm sorry, I really got into it today. Your boy's preaching. I told you I was about to get it, right? I told you about to get it, right? I'm saying, boy, sometimes it just flows off me and feels real good. And that's all I want to say about the zoo. You know, make sure that you are not in a zoo. Make sure that you are wild and free. The last thing I can think of is Madagascar, the movie. Like, you know, they were in the pen and then they had to escape to go to Madagascar. And that was, they knew they had something more. Think about the movie was about you. You're in the zoo performing for the animals. Think about it, right? I'm sorry, I'm gonna get this last part out. Think about it. The animals, they make you, the animals, you have zookeepers and they're your managers and your owners, right? And so whenever somebody higher up comes up, what do? They clean up your pen. You clean up your pen, make you act right. Because you don't want to act wrong in front of the zoo people, because then they'll put you down. You act wrong, you act weird. Oh, wait a second. You're acting out of character. You're not following the instructions. You're roaring too loud. You're being wild like you're supposed to be, because you're human. You're being human because we weren't designed just to have jobs for the rest of our lives. You're sitting up here, you're being human. What do? They put you down. They get rid of you. You're a troublemaker now. You don't see it? Next time your boss comes in, and your big head honcho bosses come in, watch what they do. They silence people. They put you, make you clean up. They make sure everything looks perfect, even though you're not perfect. But they got to make sure it looks perfect, because they got to make sure that they show they have control. Because if they don't have control over you, then they lose a job. I'm telling you, man, it's a cycle. Figure your way out. And if you don't know a way out, I'll help you get out. I've got friends who are trying to help me to get out. So I will gladly put you through with the people. But the only thing about it, guys, and girls, this is the last thing I can really say to you about this, is that the only time you can help somebody to get out of that zoo mentality is if they want to be helped. If they don't want help, then they're never going to get out. They're never going to survive outside in the wild, because they don't understand that there's more. You have to go seek understanding to understand that there's more out there. You have to read books to put something in your mind. You have to watch videos to put something in your ears. Watch what you say, because it becomes fruition. That's why I don't speak negativity. I try not to. All this stuff matters. But everybody else thinks it's random. This is not random stuff. None of this is random. By chance, none of this is random. People who speak positivity will have positive lives. People who speak negativity will have negative lives. There's no chance. You will attract flies to poop. I'm just saying. I need to stop. Let me stop. Just remember, guys, you are in a zoo. But you have to dictate how long you want to stay there. Is there more for you outside? I know it's scary outside, because you don't know where you're going to get your next fix from. But you got to be willing to take that jump. Because if you're not willing to take that jump and you let fear govern you, two things are going to happen. One, they're going to put you down and put you out. Or you're just going to stay there for the rest of your life. And I can tell you right now that a lot of you guys have parents, grandparents, who are still working because they don't know any other way but. You know? If you need a reason to get out for your kids. So your kids, when you're teaching them, you can teach them how to be free instead of teaching them how to be captives. And that's all I have to say. And I love each and every one of you. The C on my chest, the captain on my chest. I love each and every one of you. Thank you very much for coming. I believe in you. Go get it. And I hope you get rid of your zoochosis without getting medicated, because that's a serious problem. You don't want to act crazy, start scratching all crazy. But it's about that repetitive motion that people get when they get a job, and you see them, they've been there for a while and they just do the same things over and over again. They just built that habit. They don't ask questions because they need this. They don't know any other way. They've survived. And that's all it's about. You got to think about it whenever you're, okay, sorry, last thing. Think about it whenever you're growing up as humans. Different phases of human, Homo erectus, you know, all the different pieces, that it was about survival at that point in time. So there's something in us that must survive at all times. And so right now we've been trained to think that survival means having stuff, having a house, having a car. That's survival, making sure I'm fed. That's survival. These survival tactics, as long as these are being met, we don't want to shake the boat, because if we start shaking the tree, who knows what can fall out? We might fall out. And that's all I have to say. All right, I gotta go. Actually, I don't really have to, but I don't want to keep you guys here for 15 minutes. I'm so sorry I got into it, but I appreciate you guys being here. Some of you guys watched the whole thing. If you watched the whole thing, comment below of welcome to the jungle. Welcome to the jungle if you watched the whole thing. And that's all I have to say. I appreciate you. Thank you for being here, and God bless. Talk to you guys soon. Goodbye now. Bye, Facebook. Bye, YouTube.